Hey guys, welcome to M&M Plants. This is Mohit here. Now today I am going to share about this beautiful plant that is Night Queen, mostly known for its flowers, the flowers that don't look great or fantastic or nothing special about them in terms of their looks, but when it comes to smell, these are one of those flowers that one should definitely have in their garden because their smell is very sweet and you can never forget. If you have this plant in your garden, it will attract you a lot. It will attract the bees a lot. So let us today understand what is the easiest way to keep this plant, and in that way, so that it can give us flowers. The way you can see my plant, it is full of flowers right now because summer has started, and this plant absolutely loves summer season, warm climate, and it will flower when it's warm, hot out there. So I want to divide this video into two parts. One, that part of the year when you do not need to take any care of this plant, and the other will be summer when you need to take care of this plant. So the first things first, if it is winter at your place, cold at your place, please do not fertilize this plant. There is no need to take any special care. Just make sure it is lying in a sunny spot or outside somewhere where it's not getting a lot of water, and that's it. Just leave it when it's winter season. It's dormant, it's sleeping. Let it sleep, because when summers will come, it will need a lot of energy, and your plant is actually saving that energy for the summer season. So whenever it is winter, what I would do is I would completely prune my plants. I would prune it from the top 2-3 inches. Every single stem I will prune it, so that when the warmer season comes, when summers are coming in, the plant starts growing bushy. A lot of new growth, leaves, stems, branches are coming up, because the more the number of branches, the more flowers you will have. Now if you have space somewhere in your garden where you can plant this plant inside the ground, in the ground, please do that, because you will love this plant. And if you don't have a spot where you can plant it in the ground, you can always plant this plant in pot. Like for example, if you have a look, mine is in a pot, and even if it is in a pot, there is no limitation. Just look at the health of the plant, look at the number of leaves or flowers it has. So it doesn't mean that if you plant it in a pot, it will not have a good growth. So the first thing I would do with this plant is to give it a very well drained soil, but along with well drained, I have to make sure that it gets a lot of nutrients. So I would make a 50-50 mixture. 50% will be a mixture of garden soil and aeration material like perlite or something like that, and then the remaining 50% will be organic compost, because this plant blooms heavily in summer season. So if the soil mixture has a lot of organic compost, it will give that strength to the plant to bloom a lot. Also, what I would do is, just before it starts getting warmer and during the summer season, once in a month, I do add like 1 spoon of bone meal powder in the soil, like every month in summer, not in winter, because that bone meal also will give this plant that strength to fight against the diseases, to bloom a lot. Basically, when a plant is blooming a lot, it needs food. It needs a lot of food, so that when it eats a lot, it can give good results. So bone meal will actually help your plant to give good results. Now if you have planted this plant in soil directly in ground, then you can plant it in full sun. But if it is planted in a pot, I would not prefer full day sun. I would prefer half day sun, and my plant, it gets morning sun. So from early morning 7 a.m. till I would say 11 a.m. or sometimes even 12 is the time when it gets sun. But then afternoon sun, I don't give it to my plant, because that's not required, especially in summer season. If it's getting 5-6 hours of good direct sun in the morning, your plant will be happy and it will bloom a lot. The good part about this plant is, especially with watering, there is no problem of overwatering, especially when it's planted in a pot, because whenever the plant is thirsty, I always see that the leaves go droopy like this. They will fall in the downward direction. So when I see the plant has started wilting the leaves in the downward direction, that's the time when I water this plant. If that's not the case, like for example, right now you see the leaves are all straight, erected, they're not wilted, so definitely I'm not going to water it. The moment it goes like this, I will water my plant. So there will never be a problem of overwatering or underwatering. This is definitely not an indoor plant. You should always keep this plant outside, doesn't matter what season it is in. And obviously, because it's a blooming plant, it will love a lot of bright spot, a lot of sunlight. So if you don't give it enough amount of sun, enough amount of light, water, the food that it needs like bone meal or organic compost, then this plant will not bloom, and then there is no point of having this plant, because this plant we don't keep it for the leaves, we keep it for the flowers. Now the place I would recommend to keep this plant is at somewhere near the entrance of your house, or somewhere near the window of your house, the bedroom window or any drawing room window, because when you open the window and at night time, you will feel that sweet smell in the entire house, because the plant is near the window or the door. And that's exactly what happens in my case. The moment it is night, I can smell the flowers in my entire house, and that feeling is something which I regret that I cannot record it, but unfortunately I can only record the look and not the smell. If you have this plant, you will understand that what a lovely, beautiful smell that the flowers will give. In a nutshell, I will highly recommend this plant, especially if you want a plant that can add a lot of smell to your garden. It will attract a lot of pollinators, so it will also help in your vegetable gardening if you have. For example, I do plant a few vegetables, like you can see chilies over here. These are my chilies. My capsicum has also started coming up if you have a look. So I do plant a few vegetables. So if you are doing vegetable gardening, these plants will definitely help you. Now I have never experienced any pest attack with this plant, so if you do experience any pest attack with this plant, you can go for the videos that I've posted for aphids or mealybugs. The link will be in the description below and on your screen, so you can use them. But as of now, this is one of those plants I can heavily vouch for, because not much care and so much of results, especially if you're living in a place where it's warmer the most of the time in the year. You should definitely have this plant. Also, if you have a look, this plant will shed a lot of flowers, as you see on the ground. So you should plant it in a place where you should be ready that it will shed a lot of leaves, it will shed a lot of flowers as well. Also, I would like to share my experience about this night jasmine or night queen, whatever you call it. A few weeks ago, most of the leaves, they went yellow, and this plant started shedding a lot of leaves, and I actually started panicking, thinking that my plant is going to die soon. Did I overwater? What did I do? It's not getting enough sun, or what happened? But actually that's that time of the year when I realized that this plant will shed those old leaves because it wants new leaves. So if your plant is shedding a lot of leaves, understand one thing: plant is getting rid of old skin, I would say, and wants new leaves. So that is the time, because very soon the plant will start producing a new leaves. It is very hungry, so feed a lot of organic compost. That's what I did. Feed a lot of cow manure or bone meal powder. Just feed your plant heavily, so that when the season comes and it has to produce those leaves, it doesn't struggle in producing leaves and producing flowers. With that, I'm done with this plant video. I hope you will plant this plant in your garden or wherever possible. Enjoy, do a lot of gardening, and I'll see you guys next time with another video. Bye for now.